everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Tech Shack. 135 episodes, and we're still going. About to close our fourth season. And fortunately, we have somebody today that I've been trying to get a hold of for a while, and finally we got him on the show. So I want to welcome Ahmed Khan, the founder of Cheetay Logistics and the former co-founder of Daraz.pk. Ahmed, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here.
Well, we're very excited to have you. And as you know, we try not to waste too much time on the Tech Check format. Let's dive right in. Ahmed, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about Cheetay.
It's obviously very humbling to talk about oneself in the grander scheme of things. I'm a computer science sort of major by training, never having worked as an engineer. I've had various stints at multinationals. I worked at P&G, I worked at McKinsey. I've run a family textile export-based business, but for the last sort of 10 odd years, I've been doing tech startups. Right, Daraz was the first one, and then Kemu, Easy Taxi, ClickBus. We took Kemu international to Singapore, to Myanmar, Croatia, to Sri Lanka. So a lot of fun there. And then and then came Cheetay, which I ran for about 5 years. In the last sort of 2.5 years, I've been back in the consulting game, and now I'm looking to see where the market is and what to do next. So I thought this is a good time to talk to you and see where everything is happening.
Fantastic. Well, that's great. It's good to learn about your background. Obviously, you're a pioneer in terms of the evolution of what's happening in Pakistan. So it's always good to meet people like yourself who've been involved for that long. Tell us a little bit about Cheetay. I've heard a lot about you guys.
So look, sort of the philosophy was that in order for e-commerce or tech businesses in general to do really well in a market, you need an underlying foundation of logistics and payment gateways or payment rails. So the idea behind Cheetay was to solve both of those problems, right? How do we get involved in it's all and well ordering stuff online, but it needs to get from point A to point B. So Cheetay was started as sort of what later came to be known as quick commerce. We called it now commerce. So the idea was whatever you order, we should be able to fulfill it within the 30 minutes.
Got it.
So we started with food delivery. We got into grocery delivery through dark stores. We started another company called Swift, which does the more mainstream fashion and electronics logistics. So yeah, the idea was and at some point we need to figure out the payment solutions as well, right? Payments are very inefficient still, and there's a lot of friction. So yeah, that's sort of where Cheetay was set up, and sort of the latest thing that we've done with Cheetay is that. We sort of gamified the platform where it's not just about e-commerce, it's about, a gamified customer acquisition and gamified loyalty programs, right? So we're trying to do a lot of fun stuff, in the logistics space and in the payment space, with everything, the Web 3.0, with all the, AI stuff that's happening.
Very cool. Very cool. So, and based on kind of your experience with this sector in Pakistan, and we've also seen it with some competitors and people who are in similar veins across the country. What do you think are the biggest challenges you're facing to make sure this actually grows and sticks?
So look, I think there are a couple of things to note which are important, right? One is that we don't have a burgeoning middle class like everyone seems to think we do, right? We're a country with 12 to 1400 per capita income, right? It's a very, very low wage market.
Yep.
So that's one. The other thing is that most of these tech startups globally were sort of founded and built on this concept of heavy discounting for customer acquisition. I think that has luckily been laid to rest, right? Where in markets like Pakistan, there is no such thing as acquiring people through giving discounts because there's no cohort stickiness.
Yeah.
The minute the discount goes, people vanish. We saw that with Cream, we saw that with Uber, we saw that with literally everything. The minute you turn off the discounting, your customers start vanishing. So now, the challenge is to build real businesses which are gross margin positive and have good unit economics, and then have the cohort stickiness that can give you, without sacrificing the growth targets that VCs sort of demand, right? So in a market which is traditionally non-digital, poor infrastructure, no regulation, no legal recourse, very poor investment incentives for people who are bringing in dollars. So it's just a tough place to be and operate, right? And
Sure.
for the challenges that I've mentioned.
Okay, no, that makes sense, and I think what you're saying is logical. And businesses have to make money to survive. So
yeah,
no doubt. And finding that formula in Pakistan can be challenging, but I'm sure it will be found. And that we're seeing already that there are some successes that are starting to unfold. So
of course.
So good. So as you know, Ahmed, we try to keep Tech Check pretty short and tight. It's been great so far learning about your history and what you've been doing. My final question is, look, we talked about this a little before we started recording, is really important for diaspora, in my opinion, to understand what needs to happen in Pakistan. There's a lot of challenges we face, but we also do see these lights, these points of light happening. And so what can diaspora truly do to help, right? Besides watch the news and cry.
Yeah, look, it sounds a little self-serving, but the whole point of starting an e-commerce or revolution and then this sort of tech startup journey was because of my biggest peeve with the country has been the brain drain, right? The best people leave, they get into the Harvards and MITs and Oxfords and Cambridges of the world, and then and they find obviously great opportunities abroad.
Sure.
And why should they stay, right? The only people who stay are people with legacy and dynasties that have things to fall, and for who these things work easily.
Sure.
For someone to start from scratch, like you can do the math, right? A good young graduate from the best university in the country will get between 100 and 150,000 rupees, and will slowly grow salary.
Sure.
And with the increase in real estate prices, you can just measure how long it would take if only through salary that person wanted to build a house, right? You're chasing a moving dream, so it never happens.
Sure.
So that was sort of what my sort of motivation to get into this and to build a new industry was, right? So keeping that in mind, right, and I think we were very successful in when we started this. A lot of people wanted to move back to do tech startups, right? Now, if you look at some of the best ones that are out there, a lot of them have what people now call Vapistanis, right? And I it's a cute term, but I really like the fact that there's a lot of people now moving back, looking at Pakistan as an opportunity and a market, to do great things. Because think about it, right? 50% of our population is under the age of 25, 26, right? Sure. Again, they are bound to be digital savvy, right? The only thing we need to do for them is to make sure that they have some disposable income.
Got it.
So this is where diaspora can really help, right? What we need to do is we need to set up real businesses in the country that can employ these people, give them a chance to make more money than they would traditionally, given the rupee devaluation. So we need to figure out ways to employ our people so that they stay in the country, but at the same time have incomes which are sort of currency denominated and not dollar or not rupee denominated, right? And there's lots of opportunity to do that in the tech space, in the services space, even sort of in the traditional business space, right? We can have a lot more entrepreneurs, but the idea is to build real businesses, right? Not burn businesses. Okay, if you grow it, you grow top line until you run out of money, and then you figure out, okay, can I raise more money, or does someone want to buy me out, or do I just go bust? Right. So that's where I feel that some of the the input and one other thing is training, right? I feel our people really lack the core skill set that is required to do great things. So
Sure.
again, they need mentors, they need coaches, they need help. But at the end of the day, businesses have to be structured in a way that they can fulfill local need in a profitable way without burning too much cash, right? And that's sort of the new ethos, I believe, that needs to happen. And you can pick and choose, because we say that we have a lot of engineering talent. Okay, I don't think you can name 5 companies out of Pakistan that have world-class engineering products, right? So that's more of what we need, right? Get people to sort of take a punt and develop this skill set, and more than the skill set, develop this market of individuals who can become your consumers, and then you can see the economy revolve, right? And escalate. That's sort of my view on things, right?
Excellent. No, well, thank you. It's a very, very rational view. I think it's now all about doing what we can to try to accelerate that, given all of the continual negativity that we see in here. But it's good advice, and you're there doing it, so that's helpful. So with that, first of all, I really want to thank you. It's long due. I knew you should have been on the show a while ago. I'm glad we finally had you on. You're a pioneer in that world. So thank you very much for coming.
No, it's a real pleasure, and I apologize for missing out on all the fun stuff. 135 doesn't have a very nice ring to it. Would have loved to be in the single digits, but but I think now the next target is how many more times can I be on it, and can I be the most frequent visitor on the show? So that's my new goal.
That's great. No, I'm sure we will have opportunities to collaborate. I can promise you
Absolutely.
that. And to our audience, thank you very much again for supporting TechCheck. As you can see, trying to breathe positivity into a sometimes challenging environment, but here you have it. There's lots of people doing good things there. So please continue to like, share, and subscribe. We really enjoy doing this, and we look forward to continuing with a couple of more episodes to wrap up this season. And with that, I bid you all Allah Hafiz.